Welcome to season 2, episode 4 of Through Jeremiah's Eyes. I have, as you all know, Donald Hartsfield as a special guest on this episode, and today we are going to be talking about how our childhoods have affected who we are today. So just to start off the episode, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Would love to. So my name is Donald Hartsfield, bioengineering student at the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University. Yeah. I'm from Wake Forest / Raleigh, North Carolina, so I've been here my whole life. I'm a senior now. I'm about to graduate,
Crazy.
Which is ridiculous. Excited to go out into the real world, get a job, all that fun stuff. So just got to get the plan in order. We're going to get there.
Yeah. And then we gotta dive into it. We're gonna dive into it
today. Crazy. Let's do it.
But so first off, I asked all my guests, low-key forget to ask and then ask. My guests to bring something onto the podcast as a little show and tell, something that means or has some sort of significance to you or your life. So what is that thing for you?
So it's kind of cold outside already, but they decided to bring my You Matter hoodie. I really enjoy the You Matter hoodies just because they are good quality, are very comfortable. I think the fact that you can have different colors, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know I'm describing a lot of just different clothing brands, but I don't know. I think the message behind it, also trying to encourage people, because I can wear this hoodie and I would never know if somebody else looks at this and it may make them feel better. Who really knows? And it also makes me feel better when I look at it, see myself in the mirror, stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it spreads a good message. Why not have? I have 4. So I was why not have a good amount? I'm probably gonna get another one when it come out this Black Friday. I'm on it.
I need to get one because I like the message behind it. Yeah. So it's just a matter of coughing up the bread to get it.
Just don't think about it when you do it. Yeah, the bread's gonna come back. We all know this.
Just gotta figure out the color. But just to kick off the episode, we had the same conversation or this topic last year, a year ago from today. Yep. So just to kick this off, if you could give $1 million to charity, where would it be and why? Do you remember that question?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I feel that was the question that you weren't gonna remember.
But now that you mention it, I do think I said it, and I was oh, it's way too hard to pick and choose a charity. I remember I said that. That's crazy. I don't know.
Or what causes are you passionate about that you would want to give money to?
Yeah, so right now I'm very passionate about so I did say I'm a bioengineer as before. I'm very passionate about getting healthcare for minorities, and then also medicines, technologies, things like that for minorities. That's one of my biggest pushes. That's another big reason why I came into kind of this field, is because, as people told me before, if you wanted to see a change in something, you may have to be that person yourself. Yeah. So I can't just complain that there's no affordable healthcare, or there's no opportunities for safe skin, sunscreens, skincare like that. The fact that the Black community doesn't have a lot of that is because they don't do research testing and things like that for us, for it to be safe. Yeah. Or we would use certain products hair products. Some don't work well on Black people hair as they're marketed to be. So kind of just that whole process and funding the research behind that to make sure that, these medicines that we're testing and putting out into the market, these are tested on African Americans. It is safe for us. And hopefully that can kind of bridge the gap between medical and the African American community kind of, battling against each other. Because I'm not a full truster on certain doctors, certain medicines. I do know that this world around me, there are certain people who will see the color of my skin and think I should not be here. So that doesn't have anything to do with who I am, my character, or anything like that. And I can be put in the wrong situation at the wrong time.
You never know.
That's me. So I do believe in that, and that's why I'm trying to make sure that that bridge is closed.
Yeah, and I like that, especially because in the Black community, one of the things that you said was the mistrust between the Black community and the healthcare system, which is completely justified. Even pain tolerance studies, seeing that, for example, in pregnancy, how Black moms get prescribed less pain relievers than their counterparts, that sort of thing, which to me is insane. Yeah. We also have a higher likelihood of high cholesterol, blood pressure, and diabetes as well. And a lot of the research that's gone into different medical studies has been solely on, or the pool of research, patients, study people, have been on white individuals. So that doesn't account for the genetic disparities that are within the African American community. So I like it. Aspiration.
That's what I was going to say. Absolutely.
And going into like the distrust, why do you feel like that is? Do you feel like it's part of history that we like distrust the healthcare system, or what do you think that it is?
Oh yeah, 100%. I do like remember in certain classes that I had either in high school and then also some in college where like we would hear about like around the 60s, 70s, like during that time, like it did happen where like there were doctors who would not treat patients who definitely needed it at that point in time because of the color of their skin. So like the fact that history, those are like my grandparents' age, like that's their time. So it's not that far.
I was like, I feel like a lot of stuff they try and act like it's super far removed, but it was
really right around the corner. And so trust takes time. Just like something as massive as that and that hurts so many people like that, like it's going to take a time for people to actually feel comfortable going to doctors, going to do XYZ. Like I know certain people who don't even like getting flu shots because of that same reason. Correct, which like I can understand, and I'm not upset at that person for believing that because that is your safety, and these people did it in the past. Like they try to hurt you, they might do it again. So.
Do you feel like when you end up having a family that's gonna, or that distrust, do you feel like you're gonna try and, or how do you feel like you're gonna try and remedy that distrust, or do you feel like there are any ways that trust can be remedied besides time?
Oh, absolutely.
The healing will take time and all that.
Yeah, I think even now, there's more and more places that like understand this concept. Like we're not the only ones who kind of like have heard this before. So like a lot of people are advocating for that and finding places, reviewing places, making sure that like, I know on certain like websites and reviews, they're talking about like, oh, this is safe for African Americans, or like, oh, they're open to people of all like races, colors, things like that. And so, so the fact that certain doctors' offices in certain areas are marketing that, I think that one makes it safer for us to be like, okay, this doesn't mean I'm gonna put my full trust in this, but let me at least go talk to someone. Let me at least go ask this person questions. See who the doctor is in charge, because sometimes it could be an African American themselves, and we wouldn't know because we never even went to go check. So like just finding those places to where, oh, we are safe, we can be safe, and so that's what I would try to do for my family, and I would fight like to make sure that like this person who's watching over, definitely my children and my wife as well. You gotta
That's the same exact way, and I have so many ideas. I thought about a whole bunch of different types of stuff. In the same way that you have that passion behind making, like, pretty much like remedying the healthcare system by way of biomedical engineering. But remedying that in your own way. So I like that.
Appreciate it.
But tying into like that generational distrust of the healthcare system, and the way that, like, just generationally, if it was passed from, like, it was our grandparents and beyond that, like great grandparents, everything, they experienced it heavy, like firsthand, so they have that account. And then our parents, they have the like secondhand stories from their parents, and then that kind of gets passed down to us, and now we have this concept of the healthcare system and how it affects our people and everything. So thinking about when you have kids, how do you feel like how do you want to raise them in terms of the way that African Americans are treated in this environment, whether it's like healthcare system, how they move throughout life, corporate settings, or even just like in general, just walking around in public, having a hood on versus not having a hood on, that sort of thing.
It's a great question. I absolutely love it. I honestly think that I would do a very similar style to how my parents kind of allowed me to learn about the, like, basically everything that happened with African Americans. And they allowed me to do that on my own. So like whenever I had a question, it was like, okay, I'm always open to coming and asking you a question about this because this is who we are. Or also understanding that, hey, if I ask my sisters, like I have 2 older sisters. So me going up to them and saying like, hey, like I was just wondering XYZ about this and different circumstances like that. And they would sit there and take the time to like break it down to me and explain it to me, like not try to beat around the bush, not try to do any other thing, because it's like, this is the world you
it's
are
a reality.
And like even at like young ages, so say for example, I am in 4th, 5th grade, like it might not be major racial things that I see on my day-to-day basis, but in certain like areas or certain times, kind of. And if I'm confused, have no clue where to go, what to like do from it, especially probably by the time we have kids, social media is about to be ridiculous.
It's about to be insane.
So like they can probably find the answer on their own, and it's probably going to be out of pocket.
Yeah, I was about to say in a totally different context and way that you would word it.
Exactly. So I would have rather them come to me, especially based off of like whatever they see on Twitter, TikTok, wherever, and come and ask me about it first, and then you get the information from me, or like we can explain it, try to figure it out together, and stuff like that.
I feel like that would make it a lot easier, especially having those conversations initially, because I understand from a parent's perspective wanting to, I guess, like protect your kid.
But you can't do it.
But you can't protect them from everything. I feel like that's one of the things that I appreciate that my parents did that I also want to reciprocate. Being able to have conversations, even at a young age, even when I'm like getting in trouble or anything like that, like being able to have a conversation about things, because I feel like kids are really smart, especially nowadays. They just get exposed to so much information. We kind of got like a glimpse of that. But I feel like this next generation, as you were saying, they can look up literally any questions they have on the internet and have a whole bunch of different opinions that could be right, wrong, they could be truth, fact, or fiction, anything. So it's just, I feel like that'll be an interesting dynamic, trying to raise kids one day. No matter what you say, they're going to have access to an opinion that's completely opposite of yours that sounds justified. No. At least to like a little kid's mind.
1000% agree. I would say like, I guess my parents definitely did protect me as a child from a lot of the stuff going around in the world, including some stuff with like African Americans. And I had to learn that by myself, especially like to the extent of how they were mistreated. That was like something I had to find out on my own. But I was protected, and then I got to where like high school, like pushing, coming to college type of thing, and that protection wasn't there anymore. Because like, I think they understood like, oh, he is about to go to college, like, let him be free. So I realized I had a lot of freedoms coming around like senior year of like, oh, I want to go do XYZ. Can I go do it? And they would say yes a lot more. And I think that like helped me, but for a lot of people who aren't, like, and we're protected still across that point, you're going to get to a point where you're not protected at some point in your life. Like, you can't do it forever. So I think the later and later you wait, the like just worse the outcome.
The worse it's going to be.
Because they've been bottling up like different things they want to do, different things they wanted to ask, different things they wanted to try, all within 18 years. They're going to go crazy in the next year. Like it's got to come out at some point. So I don't know whether you do that then. Whether some people I know who've waited till after they graduated college, and then it's like, yeah, I'm out and paying my own bills. Like, I'm financially free from my parents. Now I'm going to do whatever I want. And I think a lot of parents don't get that. Like, they look at protection and they're like, oh, I'm in control. Like, I got it. They're not doing anything that I'm not, like, allowing them or will ever do it. And I'm like, where do you get that thought process from? Like, I just never understood.
I feel like with strict parenting, like, I understand it to a point. Because, like, that's your kid. That's literally, like,
facts.
A part of you, like, half of you. But it's like, at the same time, as you said, it just makes it a worse outcome. You're just pushing off an outcome that's going to happen inevitably. So I feel like if you give your kid more freedom and trust them more, then I feel like it goes both ways. Like, I feel like when my parents started trusting me more, then I gave them more respect and trusted them more. I was like, oh, they trust me. I'm not gonna try and ruin this trust.
Or at least get caught too easy. That's what it was. I was like, let me not mess up that easy. But I completely agree with you.
Do you feel like you were a good kid growing up?
I would say yeah. I think a lot of other people around me would say yeah too. Like, especially people like you. I said it was like, yeah, I barely got in trouble. I made very good grades. My mom would get upset when I got like a B on a report card. Yeah, so like she wouldn't get like mad, but she'd be like, oh, you make sure like like you should be working harder. We're gonna like work better so you can get that A because I know you can do it. Like that type of thing. Yeah. So that's where I would get in trouble. The biggest thing that I would also do is just talk a lot. But I think we had a conversation about this too, where like when all of us were at a like very young age and like we were learning math and like it just came a little easy to us. It was like, okay, I'm very bored.
So then what do I do?
So I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna start drawing. I'm gonna start doing XYZ, and teachers would get mad at us. And instead of having that conversation and trying to figure that out, just yell. And I had plenty of teachers that do that to me. So like in my head, I assumed I was a bad kid, but like I really wasn't. I never hit anybody. Never wanted to like hurt anybody intentionally, whatever. I just couldn't shut up. That was the only problem, is that I wouldn't shut up. But
how do you feel about like gifted and talented programs then, like in that regard?
I think done well, Yes.
And what do you define by done well?
Because I knew you were going to ask me that too. Because I think in certain programs, like, the overall concept is great. Like, allowing them to have their own separate curriculum where you're putting a few students who are maybe a little bit accelerated, but not too much they haven't learned a lot of the things necessary for the next grade to skip it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing for them to have because it, like, prevents them from being, like, bored and doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
However, I was in the gifted and talented program in 3rd grade because I wouldn't shut up. They saw my grades and were like, what is wrong with this kid? So they put me in the program, whatever. All we did was just go to a separate room. It was dark. The chairs were weird. It was just weird energy. And then it was a different teacher who had a projector. She would just give us like just middle school, like, or 5th grade problems. I'm just like, yeah, just work on it. I'm still bored. Like, I was like, I can do it, but I still don't want to. Like, what are we doing here?
The impact isn't what it's supposed to have.
Exactly. And I saw like a lot of the other kids, of course, white, like around me saying like, oh yeah, this is great. Like, we're going to do harder like work. I'm over here like, why? Like, I was like, I don't understand the whole concept. So as a kid, I just think if it's done to where like, hey, I'm still a 3rd grader being taught in a way to retain 3rd graders' attention. I think it could be done well. Because like, again, working at a Boys and Girls Club, like, I would never walk into a room full of 3rd graders and like talk and present myself the same way, as if they were 5th graders, because it wouldn't translate in the same way for 5th graders. I would not dumb it down and treat it like they were 3rd graders. So I don't know. I think you just have to know your audience and like, I can still teach you this higher level stuff, but I still am going to teach you at the level that retains you.
I feel the same exact way about it. I was in a gifted and talented program in elementary school and middle school. But I feel like I remember mostly the elementary school one.
Exactly.
I was like, they pulled me out the class, have a different teacher. We did some cool stuff like robot programming and all that other type of stuff. But it was like, it wasn't even like the thing that you were saying about coming in with like a 5th grader mindset, or the teacher teaching us that we were like 5th graders when we were like 2nd and 3rd grade. Like, it was more of a, we're still learning, we're going through the material 1st, 2nd grade faster than the class that we got pulled out from, but we were also getting some things outside that we didn't have in school, just like extra opportunities, which I feel like that helped a lot. But at the same time, I feel like at that young of an age, it's like I have mixed opinions, because at that young of an age, it was like I was the only black kid in that room. I was only a few black kids in the class in the first place, but then going to the gifted and talented program, it's like I'm the only one. Crazy. And then within that, you don't get the same experience as all the other students. Like, we would go do this activity or something, but everybody else would there be able to have like, I don't know, just time being like a 2nd grader and enjoying it.
Yeah, they were doing 2nd grade stuff. Yeah.
I feel like that's an important part that could get missed out on if, as you said, it's not structured correctly. But there's always going to be there's always going to be a toss up between trying to accelerate some people that stand out versus what the negative drawbacks are.
Facts.
But
do you feel like being in the accelerated program like changed who you are now, or like, okay, so where do you think, or who do you think you would kind of be if you weren't in the program?
I feel like I would be. Actually, no, yeah. A lot of my closest friends came from that program throughout like elementary and middle school, just because we had that like tight bond, and it always made me more ambitious, because like in the other classes I was just like, I already know how to do this, like you teach me how to do it, then I know how to do it. But in that class it was like, you teach me how to do it, I don't really get it, so I have to work. And I'm really competitive, I like challenges, so then having that kind of built up my, if I want something, I'm gonna go get something. So that helped build that up, and then also gave me the confidence that I was like, if I want to do something, then I can do it. I have people that I can rely on to be able to help me. That I feel like I learned that at a really young age, that it's always okay to ask for help. And then also if I want to do something, I can do it. If I want to try this, if I want to try robot programming, which that was like the first time I did it. I haven't really done it since. But it was like I got exposed to that, the world of that. So that was cool, especially at like a young age. It's just like you just need to get exposed to everything, I feel. And the fact that I got exposed to a whole bunch of things also helps me today. I feel like, or I can see how I'm interested in so many different things, and I don't have a problem doing a whole bunch of different things. But it's like all that interests me, all this could help me grow. So
it definitely makes sense. It definitely makes a lot of sense. Yeah, especially just knowing you too. No, okay, it's a very fair argument.
I like that. I like the program though. Could take some tweaks or use some tweaks, but at the end of the day, I like it overall. Let's see. If you could have all boys or all girls, I thought I asked you this last time, but if you could have all boys or all girls, which one do you have and why?
Yeah, and I remember my answer from last time, and it's the same.
Is it
it's the exact same? Because I was like, let me think about it for one more second. But nah, I definitely would have all boys.
All girls is the go-to. But you can explain.
I just think about having all girls, and I'm like, there's only but so much I could probably relate to them on. Like, I don't know. And maybe that's just selfish of me, because of course, like, I would have a wife, and like she would be able to relate to like all three of my daughters too. I don't know. I just feel like it would just be so much easier if like, yeah, I was a guy. I kind of know like
a little
bit more like where your head is at during certain things. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it'd be cool though. All daughters.
Oh, I wouldn't be mad about it.
It hasn't gotten more appealing than all sons yet.
I personally would not be mad at either. That's what I'm saying. But like,
I definitely wouldn't be mad at either.
If I had to figure out which one I feel like would be easier for me, I feel like having all guys. And then also they're pretty simple as well. Like eat, play some sports, go outside, rock out. I do it with you. Like I was like, it's not like anything crazy. But yeah, I just imagine like my daughter's like, yeah, I like to dance. Let's go dance. I can't really do that with you. Cause like, yeah, I don't dance and like I can't dance. So then I'm like, like that's something we have like apart. But yeah, I never played football a day in my life. But my son wants to go throw a football. Yeah, I do know how to throw a football. Like I can throw and catch a football type of thing. So that's different.
Makes sense. I can't hate on it, but I still vote all daughters. I feel like it'd be cool.
And can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that at all.
I feel like that's because of my little sister, the relationship she has with my dad. I feel like it's just like, I want that.
That is all good. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. And then also, last question, being the youngest child, how do you feel like that's shaped who you are today? Besides being spoiled.
Chill out. See, here y'all go. Because they don't know, but you're the oldest, and that's why you would just be saying that. Because we're truly, as the youngest, not spoiled. However,
it's cap.
I will not reject a blessing when it is brought upon.
Exactly. So then if it's a blessing,
don't be mad at me. But in all honesty, I don't know. I think seeing that, like, or kind of when I was growing up. So especially in elementary school, heavy. Like I would have my two older sisters. So like. At this point, my older sister was kind of in like the high school area, and then my middle sister was in like late elementary, early middle school. So I always had like someone to look up to at almost every single level by the like our age spaced out. So at a point in time when like my sister first starts like graduating high school, I'm like, oh, what is graduating high school? You know what I'm saying? And now I'm exposed to that. Or like, and then I'm like, oh, my middle sister's transitioning to high school. And then I start paying attention to her. And I'm like, oh, her junior year comes around. What is she doing? She's sitting at the table cramming for this test. What is this test? Like, it's just little things where I'm like, oh, I had two different people to watch going through both of the things. College even itself. So like I had both of them to watch. And so then it made it easier for me to like make decisions. Because I do feel like I am very indecisive. And like I go to them for like a lot because like I kind of was there during a lot of their like trials that they had like during college or during high school, like different things like that. So I'm like, I watched when you went through it, so help me because clearly you're out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're right here, I already know you. So that's why I do lean on them a lot with like different advice and stuff like that. But especially coming to college, like I'm a little better, like a lot more independent.
Yeah. Do you feel like you had to or ever had to battle with like living up to the expectations of your siblings or what they did? Because I feel like, or at least a conversation I had with my little brother and little sister is like the different stuff that I do. It's like they'll look at that and be like, "Oh, I have to do what Jeremiah did."
Or, 1,000%. You as an older sibling is just an anomaly to me. I'm also gonna say that on behalf of them. Bless their hearts, because also especially as like my older sibling, like as I said, like she went to college. It was like the second thought to me wasn't, oh, like I probably don't have to do that. It was like, oh, what is college? How do I get there? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was an automatic thought. So then once we do get older, of course, we understand like, oh, we do have choices, but it was also like, well, by that time we figured that out, y'all already graduated college, doing XYZ. Like, knowing that you got a full ride already, like, your siblings are probably like, yeah, like, I want to get a full ride like Jeremiah. Yeah. Simply not to, like, kind of measure up to you, but more so, like, I personally watch, and you watched as well, like, how our parents felt very happy when we got the full ride scholarship. And so, like, I can just imagine if somebody else after us, like, oh, I can't make my parents that happy. Like, that weight is just on probably, like, them for that little bit.
I've been thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, ultimately, like,
I just hope it's inspirational in a way, and not like a negative way. And if it is in a negative way, then kind of get transitioned into a positive way, as you were saying.
Oh, facts. Because also you do like talk to them a lot. Like my older siblings always told me too. Like sometimes I would just be like, "Oh, I'm doing this because like you're going," but they were like, "Oh, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?" Yeah, like just keep asking them that and saying like, "Oh, these options that you do think of, like they're okay too if you do just want to try it, or just come back to what you already are planning to do." So just giving that option and making sure it's known, like, hey, you're good. Like it should be fun.
I like it. But yes, this is a shorter episode than normal. But thank you for joining me. I hope everybody enjoyed listening to this episode of Through Jeremiah's Eyes with the one and only Donald Hartsfield.
Appreciate you. Had a great time today, and I definitely will be back. So.
Yes, I was about to say you're definitely going to be back a few more times this season. Definitely will hear his voice, see his face on the video, everything.
Love. I forget it's there.
It's new. But thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to check out Through Jeremiah's Eyes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, as well as YouTube. Go and subscribe to the channel, follow all the channels, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything, every social media. Like, comment, share, subscribe, everything, just to help get the word out. And then also make sure that you are tapped in and tuned in for the next episodes. Have a few big things in the works, so definitely stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Love.
Easy buttons.